interchange projects, and we also own the Metrolink stations in Riverside.
Good afternoon. I'm Shanae Farrow. I'm the district small business liaison for Caltrans District 8, Riverside, and San Bernardino counties. I assist small businesses, DBEs, and DBEs with finding out contracting opportunities with the state. Well, with Caltrans.
Good afternoon. Raymond Carlos, Office Chief for the Central Business Office with the Department of Veteran Affairs, CalVet. What I oversee is the Business Services Office for our headquarters building, as well as the entire procurement and contracting activity for the agency.
Perfect. As you can see, we have a wide range over here on the gambit of all of our panelists that help with different areas. And as we said, we have buyers and resources up there. Now, I'm just going to do a quick popcorn and throw a question out to you for the buyers out there. What does your entity typically purchase? Or you can answer, what are you planning to purchase in the next 12 months? Go. Who wants to be first?
I'll take it. With CalVets over the next 12 months, we actually have 8 homes throughout the state of California. As far north as Redding, as far south as Chula Vista, and some peppered around Central California and Southern California. Our biggest home and our oldest home is in Napa, Yountville, 130, 140 years old. We are building a new skilled nursing facility there. It should be completed probably within the next year. The walls are going up right now as we speak. And of course, the moment we finish building it, we have $12 million of purchasing to furnish this 240-bed facility. So from your smallest paper clip to your full medical-sized beds and medical equipment and supplies. So.
Okay, I'll go. So with Caltrans, we have a few construction projects that are coming out for Riverside and San Bernardino County. You can find that on our website on Contractors Corner. And we also have our Cal eProcure site where there are various projects that are coming out. You can actually click on the event date twice, and it'll show you all of the procurement for our district that's coming up for the next 2 years. So.
And we don't have any supplies that we put out there, but we do have a lot of projects that we do put on our website along with Planet Bids as well. So any type of projects that we have go through Planet Bids along with our website.
You're gonna
I don't procure.
go. Okay. That's right. Well, Metropolitan Water District, we do mainly construction, professional services, and we do procurement. So we do buy goods and services. We buy from trucks to nuts to bolts to buy to everything. And the upcoming projects, I would highly recommend to get registered into our platform, Planet Bids, which is what we use for procuring and solicitation bids. So if you haven't done so, please do so. Please come see me so we can get you registered, get you connected, so that you can be the first one to be up to date and alerted when all those job opportunities or solicitation bids come out for bidding.
And what I can tell you from the Apex perspective is that if you go onto these sites and you see any projects that you want to bid on and you feel like you're not ready or you have questions or you need some of your I's dotted and T's crossed, that's where the Apex Accelerator comes in. So we're funded by the Department of Defense. All of our services are free of charge. So I don't know if you were in the earlier sessions where one of the members said that there's so many resources out there for you that are for free that you don't know about. So that's what the Apex Accelerators are. So clients will reach out to us, say, Caltrans has this for a bid. I don't even know where to start. That's where we come in.
Beautiful, beautiful. And the Department of General Services, we sell a lot of different things. We have unarmed security guard services, chiller maintenance, we have elevators, we have all types of stuff that comes up. And we go to our website Now, I say this all the time, but www.caliprocure.ca.gov has the list of everything that's within state agencies that they're selling and procuring right now, which means they want to purchase and buy. Just big fancy words, but you get to hear all these special words we use all the time. So always go there and you'll see all the state contracts. Now, I have a question. I can't think of one in particular myself for DGS, but is there any unusual product that you guys may have purchased in the last 12 months or within any years? That's just weird that you wouldn't think that your agencies would purchase. Anything come to mind? Because you've probably seen everything come by, so nothing looks unusual anymore, right?
Sheep herding? Somebody said something.
That's right.
That was Caltrans.
That was Caltrans, sheep herding. Okay, that's weird.
Metropolitan during the pandemic was not prepared, so we needed to order medical supplies and PPE, which is personal protective equipment, and so we needed medical supply, we needed gloves, sanitation, sanitary products. We didn't have any of that, and so that was an unusual expense that we did not expect, and so be on call, be ready, because those situations do come up, and we're ready to buy and purchase.
And that's a great point. If you want to sell to the state, you need to be ready at the drop of a dime. When you have your profiles and all their different systems for their certifications, make sure that's exactly what you sell, and it's exactly in the service area in which you sell that. Because when they give you that call and they're looking for you and phone number doesn't work, the email is out of order, website doesn't exist, come on. They're just gonna skip over and they tell their other people, the other buyers, hey, don't contact that one if you're looking for anything because their information is out of date. Or it's because they don't really sell all the codes that they put on there, like UNSPSC codes, NAICS codes, keywords, make sure they're on point of what it is you actually do. Because if that doesn't pan out either, they literally go through the list, look for the business, look for what their code or keyword is. Oh, they said they do that. It's not on their website. Check. Next. They go to the next person. Check. Next. Go to the next person. Because they just don't have that much time to spend calling, make sure, is this really what you're saying? They just don't have that time. So make sure your profiles are always up to date. Okay. Now, this one's going to be more for Apex, but all of your programs, I think, have something of this sort. Does your entity have pre-qualification requirements or minimum qualifications?
So, as some of you know, we changed funding agencies from the DLA to the DOD, and our metrics have changed tremendously. So we used to just counsel on everything. So we would get you into SAM, we would help you get certified, we would help with everything, right? Determine what NAICS codes were good for you. We have a bid matching service, but with the DOD, they're much more into training and what products and services we're providing to our small businesses. So for instance, we have 3 events coming up in October. One is, Am I Ready to Work with the Government? So it's a 1-hour webinar where we tell you what you need to do step by step to be ready to even work with the government. Second is an FPDS. So how do you even search for bids on FPDS or with the government? Our third one, which is a big thing for DOD now, is cybersecurity. So we have a vendor coming in that is going to talk about cybersecurity, CMMC training, level 1 and 2. Because now the DOD wants us to tell them every year how many of our clients are certified in cybersecurity. So we do have some prereqs. We pretty much send all of our newer businesses over to the SBDC to do most of the stuff we used to do. Now we're more so working with businesses that have sold products, have sold to the states, that are ready to go more federal. So we ask that you have over $10,000 in previous sales, because the government is looking at what are you selling, what services are you selling, and who have you sold it to before, because they want to see your prior experience and that you're successful. So basically our minimum requirement is you have a business more than a year old and that you have $10,000 in sales that you can show the government you're ready to go.
Is that the same for each of your agencies?
Yeah, so I'll kind of add on to that as far as the project side of it. So on the project side, a lot of times we require a 5-year that you've been in business for at least 5 years or you have 5 years of experience in doing that type of work. We also have a reference form where you would put all of your references, and on there it also has your dollar figures of how much that contract is for, and that way we can see how big of a contract you're actually doing. So if we have a $60 million contract and we're looking, for a firm to do something similar, we want to see if you've done similar projects. So we, are looking to make sure that you're able to do projects on that same scale, that you have the experience doing that type of service as well. So that's the kind of thing that we're looking for, just to make sure that you're able to meet that 5-year minimum requirement.
Okay. Anybody else want to answer? This one in particular? That's okay. You have plenty of questions, let me tell you. Okay. Now, this one, as many of our attendees are probably wondering and want to ask, is what can their small businesses do today or tomorrow to get started with your entities?
I can start with that one. I would say one of the biggest things is making sure to register with Planet Bids, making sure that you're filling in the categories of the type of work that you do, and then responding to those emails. When you get that email from Planet Bids, to make sure that if we have a pre-bid meeting, that you're attending that pre-bid meeting to get all of the information that may be necessary. And then you can also reach out to our project managers. So before an RFP is released or before an IFB is released, you are able to contact any of the project managers to talk to them about the project, to learn more about what exactly they are looking for, and meeting with them one-on-one to kind of get your name out there. If you're looking for a subcontracting opportunity on Planet Bids, under the project, there's a list of everybody that's downloaded the bid or downloaded the RFP. And on there, it'll tell you whether they're a prime, whether they're a sub, an other, whether they're planning to bid, not planning to bid. So you can also, if you're wanting a subcontracting opportunity, you can also reach out to the prime contractors to see if you would be able to do a subcontract underneath them. So that's some of the things that I would recommend.
I'd like to say something to that. Metropolitan uses Planet Bids as our solicitation bidding opportunity. Yes, get registered. If you haven't done so, it's free. Create a username and password. Once you create a vendor profile, like she mentioned, make sure you are connected with the NAICS codes or the NGIP codes, and you can up to select 50 of them so that you can get the bidding opportunities when they come out. But aside from that, this is the reason why I'm here too. Metropolitan, this is one of our service areas. We have 6 regions, 6 counties that we come and service. And so our communities are out here in San Bernardino, Riverside County. And not only that, but we can get certified as a small business and disabled veteran. Yes, Department of General Services has a state certification, and we see that and we take that on too. But we have also, there's different agencies that have their own certification. Get that certified too. It's free. And if you haven't done so, please do so, because that gives you, we have an incentives. So if these primes are, are looking to subcontract, we have a 5% incentive goal for small businesses, in addition to 5% incentive goal for disabled veterans. That's key. Take advantage of that.
And it's similar for Caltrans, except for we go through Cal eProcure. So you want to make sure that you're registered on there. Make sure that your codes are up to date, your website's up to date, your phone number is up to date. Make sure that your name actually is conducive to what you provide, such as if you're a coaching service, make sure that you have coaching on there instead of just your name. That's like one of the biggest things that I have seen, is because when we're looking at things, like Denisha said, we don't really have time to go through and see exactly what you do. So if we look at your name and it's not really conducive to what you do, we might just skip over it. Also, on our Contractors Corner, you want to make sure, if you have never bidded on a project before, to actually register to get your ID so that you can bid on a project. And then if you see a project that you want to work on and you're not able to bid as a prime, there's a space on there that says primes looking for help. and they'll list out everything that they actually are looking for subcontractors on. So you want to contact those prime contractors or come to our mandatory pre-bid meeting so that you can meet them and network with them either virtually or in person.
I do want to say another thing about that. I'll tell you this, please, there's a lot of people that leave the company, retire, and so the profile is not up to date. You'll be surprised how many job opportunities don't get, you lose the opportunity to bid because of not updating your profile. Please keep up to date, and you do need just to register and keep it recertified every 3 years. Not hard to do.
And I will just add, not to repeat what everything that was said here, but your profiles. Of course, we're talking about, at least with Caltrans, Calvet, we post our projects on eProcure. Not every project gets posted on eProcure. Anything under $250,000, we, at least Calvet, we contact you directly. So that's why we highly emphasize and encourage and always repeat ourselves, your profile needs to be updated. Otherwise, if Calvet is looking for contractors to do this type of service, and we only find 3 firms because their emails are current, their phone numbers are current, that's who we're gonna solicit. Yet there's 20 others that can provide that service, but their emails are wrong, their phone numbers are wrong, and they're blowing up my phone saying, why wasn't I contacted? Well, where are you calling from? Because I don't recognize this number. So again, updating your profile is huge.
As you can see, the takeaways here, update your profile, get registered, get certified, update your profile.
And I can add, know what your business and service is. I can tell you, no joke, that I get calls, well, what does the government buy? Well, tell me what you're selling. Then I can tell you if the government buys what you're selling. And then we have businesses that are doing something and they're like, oh, well, the government's not buying what I'm doing, so I'm going to just nilly-nelly over here because they buy this. You need to be an expert and know your product and your service. Otherwise, none of this even matters.
That's really good.
I know how we're like, we're going to bite that for our presentations right there.
Yeah. Well, and there's a lot of things that you do that the government buys that you may not know. So make sure your NAICS codes are up to date, your profiles are up to date. We do bid matching, free bid matching service, and if your profiles aren't up to date, you're not going to get notified of any of these things. Just for instance, earlier today, somebody came by and she said, I'm a realtor. The government doesn't buy. What would the government buy for me? I said, does the government buy land? Does the government buy properties? But she didn't know her business or her service to even know. So that's why I'm saying, just know your business and know your service and make sure you're an expert in what you're doing.
And I'll add, if we do contact you and you're not interested in that service or that good at that time, just send us a quick email saying, not interested this time. That way we know you're there and we will contact you again. I tell my team, if this firm hasn't contacted you back the last 10 times, take them off the list. They're probably no longer in business. They don't want anything to do with us. So a short little email, not today, next time, we know you're there.
That's a great tip, and I've heard that from a small business just recently, so I wonder if they got that from you. Where they're like, I wasn't able to bid, IT firm, but they would always respond. I can't do it this time, but please keep me on the list. Please keep me on the list. That's really beautiful. I'm just verifying with all of your programs, free is the word of the day, right? No payments required. Because there are businesses out there where their business is to charge you to get certified, to get this information. If you're starting a business, how to get an employer identification number. It's free. You just go to the state treasury's website and get it yourself. But they do charge, so please, please, please go to your resources, your small business development centers, your Apex accelerators to get that information you need, because they can also help you once you find that bid that you like. Hey, but what does this mean? What is this word? Indemnification. I said it right this time. Yes. What does that mean? What are these requirements that I'm supposed to follow? Because many of the bids are like 80, 100 pages long. Nobody wants to read those. I totally understand. Because when they come past me, I'm like, yeah, I just want to see the first 3 pages. What's required, what day? But you must read every single page, every single requirement just to verify that you are doing what's supposed to be done, or you're not considered responsible, right? Yes, bidder on that.
Yep.
Also, like you said earlier, yes, please, when those bids come out, please post your questions to these program managers, these project managers, these contract administrators. There's so many different names. But you'll see an email and a phone number, because during that bid opening period, that's when you can shoot any question you want. Doesn't matter how stupid you might think it is, they have to answer the question. And once they answer them all, at the end of that time, they shoot out all the answers to all the questions to anybody that sent them a question for that. So that's your time, because after that door closes, they are not going to answer their phones. They are not going to answer an email. And you'll be like, why wouldn't you say anything to me? Because that time period is closed, and now they have to do evaluations and keep the process rolling. Okay, so now, do any of your programs have a program that's there to help support small businesses, such as mentoring or coaching or anything of that sort, consultations? Yes, I'm going with
Yes.
everybody. Right?
Yes.
Everybody has an advocate somewhere.
Speaking of, so the Department of Defense is now really pushing mentor-protege programs. So we never did that before. So please look out if you're a member of, even if you don't need our services, feel free to sign up, because we do a lot of trainings, we send out a lot of information, but we're going to start doing trainings on mentor-protege. Earlier they were talking about the importance of mentors, and just remember there's no stupid question, and communication is key. Because if I can't answer your question, I know a lot of people that might be able to. And like they said when we were in school, somebody else probably has the exact same question, and they are afraid to ask it. So just ask the questions. I think that's also how you build relationships, right? So the people that are communicating, I recognize your name. Like, oh, there's Christina. It keeps your face in the game, right? So just, like I said, there's tons of services that are free. And if I can't give them to you, then I know somebody that can.
And Caltrans also has a mentor protege program for construction that is going to start in October for District 8, San Bernardino and Riverside counties. It's being offered throughout the state for each district, though. So if you guys are interested in that, you can find that on the Caltrans website. And we also have a protege mentor program for architects and engineers. And we have a Cal Mentor event on October 26th in District 7. And then, of course, we have within the small business program, we have one-to-one meetings where small businesses can contact the small business liaison and just get information about contracting with the state, any procurement opportunities. And then we also, there's one more thing and I can't think of it right now. Okay, I'm just gonna end it there. If you want more information, just let me know.
And Calvet, as far as programs, I could say a DBB first policy. We have that policy in place. Of course, you hear SB-DBB option for departments across the state. We actually pursue DBBs first. We want to set that standard being a veteran agency. And we have been successful going down that road. So if you're a DBBE, again, to repeat, update your profile. You will be contacted by Calvet if you have a widget that we're looking for. And then another thing that we just started here recently is we have monthly meetings with our procurement team throughout the state of California, and we'll give newly certified firms, whether SB or DBB, the opportunity to be face-to-face with every single buyer at our facilities. Give your little 2-minute speech, your elevator speech of what you can provide, answer questions, and at least now they have a face with a name.
Oh, that's phenomenal. Wow. I wonder if DGS would do that. But that leads us into our next question. What tips would you give these businesses and veteran-owned businesses in order to be successful with bidding with your agencies or entities? Yeah. You can give as many tips as you like, or just one important tip that you think.
I would say be very descriptive in the type of business you provide. Like Ms. Piper mentioned, very descriptive, know your business. There's my colleague who's a compliance officer, and she gets a request for a small business and disabled veterans certification. You'll be surprised how much is not elaborated there. Be descriptive, right? Look really what is the type of services you are providing, because that's going to really determine the type of codes you're going to, want to register by, and that's the type of solicitation bids you're going to get. So don't miss out on that. Be more specific, the better.
And I was going to say, don't be afraid to ask questions and also to see if you can meet with project managers. The worst anybody could say is no, and if they say no, a lot of times there's a reason, and they'll tell you the reason, and just say, contact us back at such and such date, and the reason why is this. So just don't be afraid to just kind of put yourself out there, ask questions, and reach out to the agencies. I mean, you can even just call the main number and just say, hey, I'm interested in this project. Who can I talk to? They'll transfer you through to somebody. A lot of times it's me, and then I have to get more information and then figure out exactly who that project manager is. But yeah, just reach out.
I'm going to say show up and be persistent. Because even though it may take a really long time for you to land a bid or win an award with Caltrans, there's still opportunities. So you want to just make sure, like we reiterated before, make sure your profile's up to date. Make sure that your certification is up to date. For a small business, you have to recertify every 2 years. For a DBBE, I believe it's 1 year. So just make sure that it's still up to date, and that you're not like, oh, they're never going to contact me, because the moment that it expires, we may need that service. And then also there's mandatory pre-bid meetings that are not, well, there's pre-bid meetings that are not mandatory, but showing up to those are really important, because that's how you get in front of the buyer. So most of the time we tell you to contact the district liaison, but we don't give you the buyer's information. But if you show up to those pre-bid meetings, you're in front of the buyer, and you get a face to a name. So the next time they need something, they may contact you directly without even letting us know. So that's really important. So just be consistent and and show up. So to those mandatory pre-bid meetings, because there's also primes. So even though the prime did not select you that time, if they can consistently see you at the mandatory pre-bid meetings, eventually they're going to have to select your name, because there's going to be so much work that someone else is doing that they're not able to get to them. Eventually they're going to call you. So just be persistent and show up.
Ditto with everything they said. And I will add, read the solicitations.
Yes.
If there's a solicitation out there that's asking for a red pen, respond with a red pen, not a black pen. If you're pursuing a contract, read your contract. Read all the documents that need to be submitted with your package. The most minor form that is not submitted, you are now not responsive and responsible. And you might question, it's like, for one piece of paper, we let everybody know this is what's required, these 10 steps, you provided 9, sorry about that. And then also on the contract side, what I mean by read your contract, understand what you're getting yourself into, the services that are being requested of you. I know we're all state employees, whether it's a contract manager at a facility, whatever. If that contract is for you to paint this room, and all of a sudden that contract manager says, can I get you to paint down the hall? That's not on that contract. If you do it, you're doing it for free. And we have language in our contracts that state, this is what we're paying you for. So read your contract. Do not let anybody tell you to do anything else without getting it signed in black and white. So.
That's good. All of these are really, really great tips, definitely. And as you heard,
being a subcontractor is not a dirty little word. You can get a lot of opportunities there, and as you said, there is minimum requirements where there was 3 to 5 years where you had to do business opportunities and jobs in order to even get to the bigger contract. So make sure you read for that as well. Also, we have many advocates in every state department. We have advocates up here that you can contact and ask questions and just get in front of them, do your elevator pitch, so you know, minute or less, preferably like 30 seconds, put your name and everything in there that you can say, and make it memorable, because that's the other thing. Because there's a lot of people that can do elevators, or can do construction, or can do IT, but they need one that's gonna be memorable and it's gonna stick in their heads when they start thinking about it. So now, with all this, I would like to see, does anybody out in the audience have any questions? One right there. Do we need the mic?
Sure.
Struggling, yeah.
Thank you. This is for Ramon. You mentioned opportunities to give our elevator pitch and all that. What venues were those?
There are monthly meetings that we have with our procurement team, and we have a table out there. You can let us know you're interested, and we will put you on the calendar.
Monthly meetings?
Monthly meetings.
Where do you have them?
They're virtual. They're virtual. We make it easy for you to attend.
Okay, because my next question was going to be, how do we get notified of these?
We'll fly you to Sacramento, no.
Exactly.
No, yeah, they're virtual. We send you the link. We give you your, the agenda, the time slot that you have, and you
Okay.
meet the team.
Because like the registering on Planet Bids, then do we get notifications of opportunities? Or do we still have to every day look for them? How does that work?
So when you register on Planet Bids, when you register under category, so when we select that category for a job, you'll automatically get an email from Planet Bids letting you know that, hey, there's this bid opportunity out there with the link to click on, and it'll take you right to the project.
Oh,
And the other thing I want to point out with Planet Bids, each agency has their own independent identifier. So you do have to register individually under each agency. So you can't just go to Planet Bids and it'll register you everywhere. That's the only downfall, is that you do have to register individually under each agency.
you say each agency. Can you give me some examples of agencies?
Yes, we have Planet Bids and they also have Planet
Planet
Bids.
Bids.
So you would have to go to RCTC's website.
Or Metropolitan Water District of Southern California.
Okay.
Yeah, so you'd have to go to each one of our websites in order to register.
Okay, because I had a consultant this morning send us a notification that there's a meeting up in Palo Alto in October. And once again, we didn't get it directly. One of our consultants picked up on it. Again, a form of an industry day. So I'm pinging on them to find out how they got the notice. You know, because she just sent us the link. I was like, why aren't we getting this stuff? So,
Yeah, and it could be because you're not registered under that specific entity.
yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
And then really quick, at least my experience with consultants, usually they try and build their team. There's one consultant that got the notification and they're trying to build their team to submit their package. So that can also be happening.
One of our sub-consultants.
Oh, okay.
We're fine.
Two questions, basically. First one is there a specific format for when we responded to the RFQs, RFPs and everything, if there's a specific format? And the second question is, how long do we float, or before we pay our guys, before we see something? Is it by the month, or is it every 2 weeks? Or till the job is done?
Well, as far as Calvet with RFPs, everything is documented as far as what we expect, whether it's in a notebook, in a summary, in a whatever. Everything is documented in that RFP proposal and letting everybody know that's interested what we want, whether it's a one-page document and we need 5 copies, whether it's in a CD, whether it's whatever, we put everything in writing in the contract. As far as the template, I've seen a mixture of different templates. So I don't think, unless the agency's requesting a certain template, it's whatever you have that works for you, you submit. As long as you dot your I's, cross your T's, read the contract, the solicitation, and provide everything that is being asked. Now, as far as payments, from my experience, it depends on what's written in the contract. If it's a lump amount, if it's hourly, if it's weekly, it all depends on what's in that rate sheet, how the vendors will be paid.
Same for DGS, yeah. They'll tell you if it's by project, or if you had to complete a task, send a report, send the invoice all at the same time for somebody to review that and make sure, then that's when you get paid. And of course, every department and agency has their payment schedule as they're paying, so as they receive that invoice, they look at it, goes through this process, goes to this person, goes to another approver, who then gets it to the budget person, and then they're saying, is this okay, is this not okay? Now, a week could have gone by that time, or 2 weeks could have gone by, but as it gets to that okay person, then they're like, send out the check immediately, and then it can come out. So it can take a little bit of time, can be within a week, can take up to a month, can take 2 months.
And that's why they're expressing the importance of reading the contracts, because every single one is different. And you could be bidding on jobs for Caltrans or Calvets, and they could have 2 different requirements for different. So it's just really important to know what you're getting yourself into and read everything.
That was gonna be my question, is I know like through COVID, a lot of agencies changed their net pay, so some were doing, some advancements, and sometimes, they were doing 10 days, etc. So my question would be to each panelist. I know Calvet, I think, is like net 30, net 45 is a standard. What are each of your standards as far as is it the same? Is it the same or is it different?
For Metropolitan, it's net 30. We do our due diligence to make sure that our consultant and our construction are paid on timely. We're really good at that. We have a really good record. We even have a net one too.
Or is it direct deposit?
No, it's check.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever the payment plan is set up on the contract.
Yeah.
Each contract is set up differently, yes. So for professional services, if you're doing professional services, let's say training or coaching, it could be net 15. It could be the way the contract analyst, like he says, read your contract, if everything's negotiable. You want to negotiate a net 10, we can do that too. But no, mainly it's net 30.
Yeah, and the majority of ours are also net 30. We do have some of our bigger projects where it's net 45, but the majority of them are net 30, and a lot of ours are EFT. So they're direct deposited. We do have a few that are still paper checks, but not very many, and that's up to the vendor on if they want to get the paper check or not.
Is that to the prime or to the sub?
That goes to the prime. So we pay the prime, and then the prime is responsible for paying the sub.
I'm not sure. I'm not versed in payments yet, so I still have some learning to do.
And it is 45 days, as Christina mentioned, for Calvet. We take 30 days, and SEO takes 15, and they take their 15.
And for DGS, it's really 45, because we have up to 45 days to pay, or there's late payment penalties that can be added onto your invoice.
And on that note, sorry,
Go for it.
certified firms, your interest is slightly higher, which pushes the state departments to make sure you as a certified firm get paid.
Bonus.
Sorry.
Okay, Dahlia's gonna answer the question.
Okay, so Caltrans is between 30, not 30, not 45, but also read your contracts because we're starting to do an alternative, which is job order contracts. So depending the final, the portion of it that's completed. So read the contract.
Does Planet Bids list the agencies that work with Planet Bids so you can see which companies, the agencies that you might not have thought of and say, oh, this agency might be interested in what we do?
Yes, Metropolitan does. We're a public agency, so everything is a public record. And I would encourage you to do your homework too. Once the bid or solicitation closes and that project has ended, we put the bidding price of the amount that was awarded. So you can see what that, project was, how much it was worth. So it's good to go in there and really familiarize yourself with the Planet Bids, the website, and, even direct, if you're a subcontractor and we have a 25% requirement goal, it would be nice to reach out to those primes and say, hey, I'm your guy. I'm your subcontract. let's talk, let's do business together. And normally, they're looking, primes want to get those extra incentives on their solicitation bids for RFQ when they come out. So yes.
But for Planet Bids directly to get a full listing of all of the agencies that they work with, you probably just have to contact Planet Bids directly. I'm not sure, I know from our standpoint, we don't know all the agencies that they work for, but if you contact Planet Bids, they do have a customer service line where they would be able to probably provide you with the list of all of the agencies that they work with.
And also, a number of times, certification has been mentioned. We're a certified SBE, and we went through a long LA Metro certification process. What other certifications, is there like a long list of certifications? And also, if you get certified with one agency, and I think LA Metro, if you get certified with them, then you're also automatically certified with a couple of others. I don't know which ones, but.
Are you talking about the DBE?
I'm talking about SBE.
Yeah, there's SBE.
certification. Or just even just registered. There's I guess the LA Metro registration process, which took months for us to go through. I think it automatically registered us with some other agencies as well. So.
Do you have reciprocity with Metropolitan Water?
Yeah, I mean, maybe Apex might know,
Yes.
like
I'm not sure.
a list of certifications.
Yes, we
I
do
can
accept
get back
the
to you.
California.
If you want to give me your card or your information, I can get the answer for you.
Do you work with Enrique?
I do. But we are funded separately, so I'm technically not allowed to work with you. But I can answer your questions.
Okay.
But Enrique is your guy,
Yeah.
and he should be able to help you. But he also should be able to help you when you're asking the question about what other certifications that there are. So when my clients come in and they tell me what they do and who they are, then that's the time when we recommend certifications. And just for instance, I had a woman come in, her husband owned the business, but it was left to her. She wanted to become a women-owned small business because she thought that that was going to get her more business. Well, then we get in SAM.gov and we look up her NAICS code, and there is no set aside for women-owned business. So at that point, there was no point in her taking 3 months to get a women-owned business certification when the government isn't even putting a set aside. But what we did find for her was that she's located in a hub zone, and there was a 25% set aside for hub zones for her NAICS code. So Enrique or whoever you're working with at the Apex should be able to tell you what certifications are good for you.
But there's a lot of certifications.
There are.
There are. For Caltrans, we recognize small business, SB, not SBE, because those are different. We have DVBE, and then we have DBE. So those are the ones that we recognize.
I knew that SB is different than SBE.
SB is, it's much quicker than the SBE if it took you months. You just go on Cal eProcure and you go to get certified, and they ask you for a couple of documents, and then it's about a week process and you can be certified if you qualify.
Some local cities and counties have their own small business certification,
Yes,
which
they
could
do.
be SBE, Small Business Enterprise, as opposed to the state's just small business.
Right.
So that E means a whole different thing. So when we hear that with the state, we're like, oh, you're with the city or county, you're not with us. So yeah, there's a whole lot of certifications out there.
And I can tell you, as an entrepreneur in a small business, you need to become a stalker, okay? So when somebody else gets a bid and you didn't get it, they have to post who got the bid, right? So look up their business, see what it is they're doing that you're not, see what certifications that they have, because you can always learn from somebody else. And there's a lot of things you might be doing that they're doing that you didn't put in your bid or that you don't have listed on your website. So just learn from everything. So look at the bids. Even when you don't get them, go back and look and see who got the bids. That's what we do at Apex. So we pull up the prior bids, and we show our clients, okay, look, this is what the bid was. This is what client got the bid. Are you doing these things? Can you do these things? So knowledge is key, and you need to read everything. Nobody's advocating for you except for you. I mean, we're here to help you, we're here to mentor you, we're here to show you the right steps to take, but ultimately you're your advocate.
Something.
So for the SB, when you start at the state level, there is on the GGS webpage that lists all the reciprocity localities that will accept that. So the cities and counties may accept ours, but we don't accept theirs. So you may wanna look at the state, cause it may save you a couple down below because they'll be accepted. So now you've opened up state agency contracting and local agency contracting with one cert.
That's a great tip, because we do accept Department of General Services, but not many, or accept Metropolitan Small Business Certification, that's just our program. Great, excellent.
With respect to DGS, do we need to be registered on your website?
Correct. This is
Yes.
Caltrans.
I'm Caltrans.
Oh, you're Caltrans.
Their registration.
Yes.
Uh-huh,
Can you please,
King.
can
okay.
you please repeat that website?
Yes, I will. I do it so well.
And
www.
Darlene, do we need to be on your website?
It's
DGS.
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 Whenever you're doing business with EDD, DMV, Caltrans, Calvet, Fish and Game, Water Resource, all those are state departments or state agencies, the certification goes through DGS.
Yes.
Perfect, okay, thank you.
Website, please?
www.caleprocure.ca.gov. Yeah, remember, you get there, bam, 4 boxes. One says how to sell to the state, the other one says procurement opportunities, what does the state buy? Next one on the other side is get certified, and then the last one is resources and training. And so that can walk you through the steps of how to get certified and different people to contact, how to look up dashboards, because the state does have these dashboards, pretty things, right? That'll tell you what state agency buys what, how much, when was the last time they bought it, what area, what county, all of that information. And then that's when you go and download the list of other businesses that do what you do and see what their UNSPSC codes are. What are their keywords that are doing? What service areas did they say that they go into? And then also we have one called CalSAT, California Atlas for Small Business and DBBE Atlas tool, right? And on there it tells you what areas people are buying from our certified firms. And then you can see the gaps and see where you can fill in those gaps. Because we're trying to get from everywhere. Every state agency loves our local small businesses and DBBEs, right? But if you can't get a local, you'll go to somebody that says, oh, I'm way up in Yucca. Is that a real place? I don't even know. Okay, Ukiah is what I'm
Yes,
thinking,
Ukiah.
not Yucca. Yes, but they'll go to that person because they can't find somebody local. But that person might have not told the entire truth and at the time cannot service that area. So now there's nobody when you could have been the one that was right there to do that. Yeah. Any other questions? This is awesome. What are your pain points? Have any of you done state contracting? Had so much fun that you're willing to say how much fun you had? Besides payments, I know payments is a big thing. Reading the bids, getting the bids, finding bids that actually work in your area. Because sometimes you have to change your niche just a little bit to be able to pick up those contracts. Because there might not be any contracts for you in particular what your primary is. But there's always this little area that you do that you didn't pay attention to before until somebody brought it to your attention. And there might be a lot of contracts in that particular area that you could be in. Okay. Microphone lady. Woo, Bella.
Can I add something real quick?
Go for it.
Please, on the solicitation bid packets, don't make edits to the forms. That is an automatic disqual. You're done. So if they're asking for A, B, C, D, and that makes no sense to you, just provide A, B, C, D. Because as soon as you alter a form or change something, it's an automatic disqualification. It happens. Also, when submitting on time, if the system crashes at 11:59 and it's due at noon, you just lost it. The 3 weeks of work is gone. So build in some time. They do not take into account technical errors
Yep.
or difficulties. Sorry, thank you.
That was perfect.
So my question for you is, out-of-state agencies, is there different formatting you have to do? Is there other obligations that are required?
Depending on the contract, yes. And so that's where the requirements come in for certifications, for permits, if you have to subcontract out for an incentive or a preference, like we have small business, we have DVBE, we have DBE. I messed those two up so bad. Yes, but there are certain requirements that you do have to follow and certain things you have to have. Because I was just hearing from a business earlier that I didn't realize, like if you're in the janitorial business, there are certain chemicals. There's a list you have to put of all the chemicals you use, and sometimes agencies don't know what it is that you're using, so they're like, sorry, we don't know what that is. I know what Clorox is, but I don't know what that green sustainable something that you're using, and we're not requiring it right now. So yes, there are a lot of requirements. So it's very simple, but it's not easy. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I just received a contract where they just called me. You said that if it's under a certain amount, they will contact you directly, which is good. But sometimes there's scams out there that they call you directly or they send you some weird email and you're not sure. So, any advice on to?
I can speak for our contracts. It comes from an analyst's email. It has their name, it has who they work for, it has their phone number. I would pick up, dial that phone number, see if it's legit. They'll answer, did you send me an email? Did you mean to send me an email? They'll tell you yes. And I would kind of go down that road. Yeah, I totally hear you as far as scams out there and people trying to pull one on you. That's probably one suggestion I have. Just if there's a number, call it and check.
Yeah, look for things that are out of the ordinary, like misspelling, the things that we look for in like phishing emails and things like that. But yeah, it will typically have our contact information. Sometimes it'll even have our address on there for the state building. So those are some things you can look for. And it'll definitely have our address on there. So Caltrans or dot.ca.gov.
Some may do that, but I would recommend there's a number that might come in the email, but I go online and search the actual agency and then call them because the numbers might be different, that they may steal your logo.
Yeah, but it'll have on the email address, it'll have our ca.gov on there. They can't. I don't think they can hijack that, right? Yeah.
No,
They can hijack anything.
We get it all the time. Our office always has a phishing scam going on. And so one of the things is you might see in the initial email says ca.gov, but when you look up above it or below it, you get to see the true email that it came from, and it can be from blah, 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 blah. And you're like, oh yes, that's a phishing, because we do. They piggyback on Caltrans's program, says you need to send in your annual reports, which is your tax returns, and it's this people from somewhere that is trying to get it. So yes, definitely call the phone number, look up on the website, see, because you can call the agency directly, and then they'll route you back to the person it's supposed to be, whoever's name's supposed to be on there. Or if that person doesn't exist, they'll let you know that as well. Yeah, oh, definitely watch out for scams. Yeah. Ooh, great questions.
I just wanted to also mention that DGS has something that's fantastic. It's called the SBDVB Emergency Registry, which is actually separate from Cali Procure. Certified businesses who are small business or DVBE are invited to register if they can provide services in an emergency to categories including communications, electrical, hazardous materials, information technology, janitorial, lighting. It's a whole list of registered categories that are available, and it is separate from Cali Procure, but it's an excellent resource.
Nice plug, thank you. Are you on the payroll? We got a shark in here. Caltrans too.
Yeah, we have the registry, but we also have the minor B construction. So contracts up to 388,000, gonna go a different route. Go to contractors corner, they're listed on there. But also in addition, I'm not saying it's an easy one, DGS, but CMAS. It's the California Multiple Award. If your service kind of fits, it's a routine that keeps getting repeated. Apply, you'll get vetted, you're on the list. So when I wanna go buy pens, because I can't plan, or I don't wanna do my due diligence, then you may be on, if you're on that list, then I can get 3 bids and go without having to go out with a contract. So that is another, again, it's not easy peasy, it's not, you're gonna get work tomorrow. But it is another option out there without having to go through the full bid process.
I'm in the process of getting our CMAS account approved, but when they couldn't find music, we're a music company, as a schedule, a CMAS schedule. So we have another division of our company that does audio post-production. So we registered with CMAS under audio post-production, and we're waiting for that to be approved. At some later date, could we get approved as music?
That's only if they're, these CMAS schedules that come out, these agreements, are based on all the state agencies and departments, what they buy regularly, that sometimes DGS has to one-off and we just happen to see, they're always buying these things. So that's where we gather it up together, and it's based on a GSA schedule. But we gather them together and create this big agreement where we start asking for vendors to fill it. So if at any time music starts coming up as itself music, yes, an agreement could be made and we'll start pushing out to get people on it. But right now you'll have to do it under audio with the segue, right? Yeah. Ooh, great question. We're getting to the meat here, okay. Any other nitty gritties that you guys want to know about from each of our agencies? Come on, no, I'm fine. Don't want to put you on the spot. These were great questions. Anything else our panelists might want to add or piggyback off of something you might have heard earlier?
I'll just say that if you're part of the Apex or you want to be part of the Apex, we do trainings, everything's free. We do give out free resources. We did just move to a new building in Norco, and we are sharing a building with the Navy, and we are going to have a grand opening event where some of my friends might be. We're going to do some trainings and some outreach, so it'll probably be in early 2024. But our building is on Town and Country in Norco, and it's called the Tech Bridge. And we're going to have a Navy lab there and some very interesting things. So if you're around and want to see some of my friends again and get some different resources, I look forward to seeing you.
Excellent, thank you. I want to just give you my QR code so we can stay connected. And this is our Network series. We just had one here in person 2 weeks ago in the same facility. You'll hear construction contracting opportunities straight from the source. We have 26 member agencies. And I didn't say this from the beginning, but Metropolitan services 6 counties, all the way from Ventura down to San Diego to the Mexico border, all the way here to the Inland Empire, Riverside, San Bernardino area, parts of that. So we are here to serve you. We come out to our service area to do business outreach. So Networks is a series, and you'll hear about our upcoming opportunities even from other member agencies. In this case, 2 weeks ago, we had Western Municipal Water District, Eastern Municipal Water District, as well as Inland Empire utilities agencies. And you hear contracts straight from the source. So if you scan this QR code, it'll take you directly to our homepage, and you'll see upcoming projects as well as Let's Stay Connected. You can even opt in, and you'll get alerts and notifications for upcoming virtual and in-person events. And this is for all you folks that are virtualing in. You can scan this QR code and make the best use of this. Also, please, if you haven't, get my business card and let's stay connected, really, with all of us up here. We're here to be of service to you all. So use our resources, and please, by all means, contact me. We're here to help. Thank you.
Couldn't have said it any better than that. Yeah, definitely. Well, each of you say what website they should go to in order to procure your opportunities.
www.mwdh2o.com.
So as you know, most of you, we used to be called the PTAC. We have not changed our website yet, but it's rccdptac.com. Part of our redesign will be to the Apex, but right now it's still rccdptac.com.
And then ours is www.rctc.org. And then for the procurement side, you would just going under doing business. So there's a tab that says doing business, and that has all of the procurement related topics.
Okay, ours is the same as DGS's, www.caleprecure.ca.gov.
Ditto.
I love it. Thank you all for being here. But there's one last thing I have to do is bestow. What happened?
Do you need a van again?
Oh, yeah, yes, Vanna, please come. Look, now my chair is in the way. We would like to bestow upon you the most honorable award here at the Southwestern Veteran Resource Center is our Skin in the Game Award, and we have one for each of you on this panel. Does Vanna want to pass out?
Sure.
Okay. Ah, okay. Someone. Thank you. That was for Ramon. Carlos. Thank you. Vanna, come back. Okay, and for Shanae, I'm gonna mess this up. Farrah.
Yep. Thank you.
Then we have Alicia Johnson,
Thank you.
Valerie Piper,
Thank you.
Jeanette Carrera.
Yes.
Oh,
Thank you so much. Thank you.
That's awesome. I also have one for Miss Nina Martinez, who could not be with us here today. We miss you, Nina. She's from CDCR Corrections and Rehab, but I'll be bringing this home for you. And now, Mr. Ramon, I would like to get mine. Yeah, it's funny. I'm so happy to be here because I get the award, but yeah.
But also the one that couldn't be here.
Yes.
Present this to Wayne Gross, of course.
He usually wears a bow
Yeah, bow
tie.
tie.
Yes, exactly. I'll be Wayne.
And then, of course, I'll be the Vanna here. For Demisha Swanson for being our moderator.
For me? Perfect. Well, again, thank you all for being here today, from our panelists to our audience that's here with us. And if there's any last questions you want to ask before we close out today, because you can always come up here after this is done and talk to any of our panelists, get their business cards, ask them questions specifically about your business. We'll be perfectly fine.
Can I add two quick things?
Ah, yes, always.
Okay, so Planet Bid has nothing to do with us. However, I do know that in addition to agencies, there are some primes that use it. So that would be an addition. Number two, with Caltrans, our CT event calendar. So everything that you see, anything that we sponsor, we host, we co-sponsor, we work with, we partner, webinars, events, meet the primes, pre-bid meetings, and anything.
Fairs.
It's on there.
Procurement fairs.
It is for statewide, so you'll be able to see if it's in person, virtual. If it's virtual, you're more than welcome to register and attend. And last but not least, we are hosting our third annual DBE Summit. Last year was at SoFi, so this year it's at the Greenway Pavilion, Richmond, California, up north. Please join us. We have quite a few resources coming. We'll get to hear from CalSTA Secretary and Caltrans Director.
Perfect. Nice plug. Yeah, I love those plugs. Okay, well, thank you all, and all of you watching us virtually. This concludes our panel for today. Thank you.
Join us at the 12th Annual Veteran and Small Business Trade Show. Learn the ropes as you trade ideas and opportunities with experienced buyers and suppliers. Together, let's elevate and redefine the business landscape. Brought to you by the ARC and Ops for Vets. Handshakes, not handouts. Join us at the 12th Annual Veteran and Small Business Trade Show. Learn the ropes as you trade ideas and opportunities with experienced buyers and suppliers. Together, let's elevate and redefine the business landscape. Brought to you by the ARC and Ops for Vets. Handshakes, not handouts. Join us at the 12th Annual Veteran and Small Business Trade Show. Learn the ropes as you trade ideas and opportunities with experienced buyers and suppliers. Together, let's elevate and redefine the business landscape.